and I took it. You're like, what did you take it for if you're not sure? Because I haven't had a trade for a few minutes. I haven't had a trade for a few minutes. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? If you're not sure, it's not a trade, guys, right? So this is what we said 15 hours ago, just to remind people about this very, very simple fact. So 15 hours ago, you'll see here that when you look at value lines and then you draw in liquidity, right? So there's two pieces to this. There's value and liquidity. There's really three pieces to this because the liquidity comes from a buyer buying the value. Because if you haven't seen the buyer buying the value yet, guys, you haven't seen a trade, right? So there's no trade yet. So when you see a buyer buying value, like here, there was a buyer buying that upside value, right? So we see them. So we know there's sell side liquidity below that buyer. That's my buy trade. So when you see a seller selling value, that's my sell trade. When you see a seller here selling value, that's my sell trade here. When you see a buyer buying value, that's my buy trade there. When I see a buyer buying value, that's my buy trade here. When I see a seller selling value, that's my sell trade there. Nothing difficult about any of those things. But what did I say? It's an easy to see value narrative from our friends over in the options space. If a level is not this clear, it's very unlikely to be a trade, guys. Make sure you benchmark real value narratives, not possibles, not maybe an idea, maybe it might be a good trade, maybe it might be an opportunity, maybe is not good enough when live money is at risk. It's good enough when you're trading on a demo account, and that's when you've got to try and make sure when you're trading demo that you trade the things you're going to trade. There was a lot of people comparing this to military simulation. So when the military are doing exercises like room clearances or whatever, and obviously you're trading with you're playing with potentially paintball or airsoft or anything like that, and you're learning to clear a room, right? So it's a tactical exercise, but there's no live rounds involved. The ability to see that in that situation you just pile into a room is obviously absolute bollocks because you've got no chance of getting shot in the head, have you? So when you actually practice in simulation, you've got to realize that there's a reality to these things, right? There's a reality that you've got to build into your practice sessions as well, because a lot of people will make a lot of money, but it's not, you would never have taken a trade. You got lucky on the deal, you got lucky on the outcome. You've got to be able to practice these ideas, and still know that you would have taken that trade in real time. If you wouldn't take it in real time, you don't take it when you're simulating the trade setups or the type of trade. So if it's not that clear, it's not a trade. If it's not clear, it's not a trade. So you've got to practice this. The only person that knows is you, because it's ultimately your benchmark. It's not my benchmark. I know what my benchmark is. It's your benchmark. So when you see your benchmark, you know I am going to be doing that trade. Whether it's then live or not doesn't make any difference because you're going to be doing the trade anyway. I'm just taking a bit more money on that oil, guys. I've just seen a little bit of a reluctance there. You can see on this little candle here, it's started to absorb here. So I've just taken another little bit of cash off here because I'm now thinking that failed auction is going to result in a sweep into the top edge here for a spring. You see that? So I took a little bit more money off, and now I'm waiting to see if it wants to sweep. Then I'll take another shot at the top lines again here. And we'll see if that's how this is going to play out. Swap dealers certainly still selling it, but the dollar's obviously causing us a little bit of a bounce off the 50s at the moment. So that's what I'm obviously aware of at this point. Sexy, look a box of chocolates, boys. Swap dealers, sell side, inflation break-evens, buy side in line with that dollar, of course, that storyline. Trying to figure this thing out at the moment, and just not happy with what I'm seeing. So happy not to do much business here. So I reduce my exposures, take a bit of cash off, I can always go back in. I'm still short. I'm just taking some money off the trade, the original short sell, which was the top edge sell. Right on 1400 hours. It was away over here, so that was the top line short there. So happy to just to book some money in here, just take some cash off, and if it decides it wants to go bid, we're not going to give back too much cash on the breakout of this narrative. 75, still holding on that S&P, guys, at the moment. We've got a bit of selling coming in terms of price of vols, obviously, so we've got to be cautious about that selling on the vols. It's making life look a little bit dangerous for the 75 buyers, isn't it? Well, it's certainly making life dangerous for the 85 buyers. They've already been squished, haven't they? But the 75 buyers could get themselves into a little bit of trouble here as well, guys. So make sure, if you're on the SPX S&P, just be aware you don't want to get too big a stop on this bit of business here.